Should you save your cash or instead splash when it comes to the latest Google Pixel handsets? There's only one way to find out. I'm Ryan Thomas with Android Police, and here's a head-to-head you're not going to want to miss. The Pixel 8 series is Google's best yet, and picking the right phone for you could be a pretty tricky decision to make, but today we will have an answer for you. We of course have the $699 Pixel 8 versus the $999 Pixel 8 Pro. The first thing you'll notice, other than the 8 being 30% cheaper than the Pro, is the difference in the size and the weight. The Pixel 8 Pro is not for the faint-hearted. It's over 10% heavier and significantly taller and wider than the Pixel 8, with its 6.7-inch screen compared to the 6.2-inch panel on the 8. They follow the same design language with a metal camera bar, glass front and back, and both have punch holes, IP68 weatherproofing and USB-C ports. They also both have wireless charging, though you'll get 18 watts with the 8 and 23 watts with the 8 Pro. The Pixel 8 Pro feels more substantial in the hand, and potentially cumbersome if you don't have large hands or pockets. Both in-display fingerprint scanners felt quick, and the speakers get loud, sound full and offer some pretty decent detail as well, though the Pixel 8 Pro's note weight sounded more substantial with a bit more low-end thump to it. The glossy finish on the 8 makes it easier to hold in my opinion compared to the very slippery frosted finish on the 8 Pro. For most people, I think the 8's size, weight and overall feel will suit far better, though if you're a big fan of big screen phones, the 8 Pro is intriguing. These displays differ not only in resolution but also other panel specifications. They're both OLEDs, capable of a maximum 120Hz refresh rate and are HDR10 Plus certified, but the Pixel 8 Pro's panel is 200 nits brighter in HBM, 400 nits brighter in HDR peak brightness, and is sharper here too, with about a 12% higher pixel density figure. There are no two ways about it, the Pixel 8 Pro has the objectively better screen. Don't get me wrong, both displays are mega bright, they are crazy responsive, they're sharp, they look great, and you won't be disappointed with the Pixel 8's panel, trust me. But if you love consuming content on your phone, the Pixel 8 Pro might be your pick. The gaming experience is pretty screen dependent too, because both phones have the same Google Tensor G3 processor with UFS 3.1 storage, though the 8 Pro has 12 gigs of RAM and the 8 makes do with, well, 8 gigabytes. Oh, and the 8 Pro adds 512 gig and 1TB options to the 8's 128 and 256 gig SKUs. Performance is much improved on the previous generation models, with the Tensor G3 being a serious bit of kit. I didn't experience any connectivity issues or battery draining problems that had been a problem with the first and somewhat second generation Tensor, and gaming performance with the G3 is pretty good too, even in power-hungry 3D titles like COD Mobile, Real Racing, Genshin Impact, that kind of thing. I'd definitely choose the 8 Pro if I was serious about gaming on my phone, not only due to the added screen space, but also it packs a 10% larger battery too. The 5050 mAh cell here helps the 8 Pro last longer than the 4575 mAh equipped 8 on a charge. Both phones have independently given me a full day of charge every single time I use them with no problems whatsoever. In fact, both have managed 48 hours at some point or another, but the 8 Pro managed that feat more times than the regular 8 did. The 8 Pro's larger battery is actually worth it, and it does increase the battery performance by quite a lot. Google's Software Magic is available on both devices. Modes like Top Shot, Magic Editor and Audio Eraser are super handy and have pretty good success rates for me, though there are some mode differences which we'll talk about a little bit later. Thankfully, both phones run Android 14 and will get updated until 2030, making them fantastic options for those who hold on to their phone for a few years at a time and don't just upgrade every year. But annoyingly, Google has decided to artificially separate the two models when it comes to the cameras. Though there are some substantial hardware differences, Google has deliberately omitted some key features from the Pixel 8 that are available on the 8 Pro despite very similar hardware. These are the manual Pro controls for adjusting focus, shutter speed and ISO, and video boost for the added dynamic range. Not having these isn't a game changer for me, but it might be for you, and it's annoying that Google has limited the 8 in this way, given that they both have the same processor and they both have the same main camera sensor. That said, the real difference comes in the form of versatility rather than quality. I'll leave you the spec sheet comparison on the screen here, but you'll notice that the 8 Pro has a dedicated telephoto camera in the form of a 5x optical zoom. Oh, and a beefed up ultra-wide setup to boot. Aside from that, the main camera sensors are the same and you can expect nigh on identical performance. The only real difference between the two is that the 8 Pro uses a multi-zone laser autofocus system and the 8 uses a single zone laser autofocus system. However, I never felt like the 8 was really terrible when it came to focusing, so I'm not sure I can really feel the difference between the two modes here. Of course, you can use the Pro mode on the 8 Pro to get a 50 megapixel image versus the 12.5 megapixel binned shots that the 8 and the 8 Pro deliver by default. But honestly, I wouldn't bother. There's hardly a difference when it comes to image detail, and so when using the main camera, these two phones are practically the same. Both take stellar images with great detail retrieval, lovely natural colour and contrast, and more times than not, bang on colour temperature too. It's only when we switch to the other cameras that we see a larger delta in quality. The larger and higher resolution ultra-wide on the 8 Pro captures more detail, particularly in the shadows and the highlights, where the 8 can fall a little behind here, though it must be said the Pixel 8's ultra-wide is still a stellar shooter. It just seems like the 8 Pro captures more detail across the dynamic range spectrum, which kind of makes sense. And when we move over to the zoom, well, as you guys probably already guessed, there is no comparison. The 8 Pro's 5x lens stays usable until about 30 times, after which things can get a little bit soft and mushy, whereas the Pixel 8's photos start to falter when you get around the 5x zoom mark. The 8 Pro's reach is very versatile and can be a real asset to those who take a lot of photos. If you're the sort to take a lot of selfies, these both have you covered with identical 10.5 megapixel cameras capable of capturing great selfies with or without portrait mode. And when it comes to video, you get more versatility with the 8 Pro's lenses and sensors, but the 8 already captures some great Ultra HD 4K 60p video as it is. It's sharp, it's detailed, it's colour accurate, and it's well stabilised too. Just like in stills though, it's not going to give you that extra quality if you decide to zoom out or zoom in. Video Boost, a Pro-only feature, increases dynamic range across the board at the cost of a 30 FPS frame cap. It looks great, but it's not amazing at shooting fast-moving subjects, and in my opinion isn't a total deal breaker if you don't have it. So if you're the sort to zoom into a scene, want some ultra-wide quality, or prefer the versatility afforded by more lenses, modes and settings, the 8 Pro is undeniably the better camera system of the two. But if you're not worried about that stuff, the 8 still has one of the best main cameras on any smartphone right now. To recap then, the main differentiating factors between these two phones are the size and weight, the price, the screen brightness and size, camera versatility and battery life. The Pixel 8 is a tremendous Android handset that I think most people should buy, but if you want the best Pixel ever, it's all about that 8 Pro. Let us know in the comments which phone you'd pick, or if you'd go with a competitor from the likes of Samsung, Apple or OnePlus. Leave a like if you enjoyed today's content and hit subscribe to never miss a video like this one. I've been Ryan Thomas with Android Police and I'll catch you later. Cheers.